Hi, friend. Welcome to another episode of the podcast. And in this episode, I'm going to do something that I've done only once before, and it's going to be a pep talk. I want to talk about how do you know that you're growing from year to year? How do you know that you're getting better? How do you know that you're improving in any or every area of your life? Let's get into it. You're listening to the Driven Introvert podcast, the place to be for dreamers, doers, and entrepreneurs who are ready to birth the dreams, callings, and ideas the Lord has placed in their hearts. Do you sense that God is calling you to step out and do something new, but you're held back by fear and uncertainty? Do you struggle with believing that you can do great things because of your quiet, reserved, and introverted nature? Welcome here. I'm Remy Roy, your host and founder of shepacked.com. I'm an author, an entrepreneur, a creative, and a committed trier. I'm here to help you get unstuck and make progress on your God idea. Let's go. If you work in corporate, or maybe you have a business and you're very intentional, you have benchmarks. You have standards that you are trying to meet. You probably know about KPIs, key performance indicators. These are things that you use to measure your performance. So you could have in marketing, for instance, you could have conversion rates for maybe email marketing, and you have percentages. And if you're below the set percentage, what seems to be the standard, you know where you are, you know you're below it. If you're above it, you know you're doing good. So those kinds of things give us a way to measure how we're performing in business, in work, in professional situations. What about in our personal life? What about personal growth and self-development? How do you know that you're growing? How do you know that you're not dealing with the same issues or the same hang-ups from 5 years ago? How do you know that you're actually better than you used to be? How do you know you're more mature? How do you know you're handling things better? So certainly people around you can actually tell you. I know that for sure. People in your life who encounter you every day or often enough can tell if something has changed. They can tell that, oh, you're not very mature. They can tell that you're dealing with situations better. They can tell that you're wiser in the way you make decisions, in the way you come to conclusions about issues. They can tell that you've improved in the way you deal with difficult situations or how you handle difficult people. They can tell. But if you didn't have anyone to sort of give you that benchmark, if you didn't have anyone to assess you and tell you how you're doing, or if they wouldn't tell you the truth, or if they're not being open with you, how can you know for yourself that you're growing? How can you know for yourself that you're better than you used to be? This is a question that I've been thinking about because I genuinely want to grow. I don't want to just fake it. I don't want to deceive myself into thinking I'm a better person or I'm improving, because it's very easy to stay the same. It's very easy to be stagnant. It's very easy to just drift. And I say this all the time. It's very easy to drift from day to day, week to week, month to month, and unfortunately, year to year. And you look back and you're still doing the same things, struggling with the same issues and not able to move past that. And I think if you're intentional and if you're someone who really invest in yourself, in your personal growth, you will not be okay with that. You will not be okay with still being that same person from 10 years ago, right? You want to grow. So how do you know you're growing? I am somebody who loves to journal. I believe in the power of reflection. I feel like we don't do it enough. Even me, I don't do it enough. I feel like I could reflect more. I could pay more attention to being very contemplative and being very intentional about just my life, my path, So I believe in reflection. And a huge part of that is journaling, writing things down. I really believe in that. And I have a stack of journals that I go to, that I go back and read, because I just love the process of seeing what I wrote down 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 5, 6, even 10 years ago, and sort of seeing maybe how my mindset has changed, or how just something is different, the way I look at situations, the way I make decisions, and just going back and some of the things that I was thinking about and contemplating at the time, it helps me see how far I've come. And I was recently going through my journals, and I came across something that really touched me. And I'm glad that I wrote these things down, because going back on them, it just shows me how very important this process is. And I'm going to read to you a little bit of my journal. And this was from 2015, because I just want to make a point here, and I want to challenge you and encourage you to really take your personal growth seriously, to be intentional about this. But before I read that, the reason why I believe that reflection is such a crucial part of self-improvement, self-growth, and self-development is what it enables you to do, almost like a KPI, almost like a benchmark, almost like, having a standard to compare yourself to. I'm sure you've heard people say that, other people are not your competition. You are your own competition. You're competing with the you of yesterday. Are you better than that person? Have you grown? I think it's very crucial to think about this. And I promise I do not say this to brag. There's no point in all of that. I say this to challenge you and even myself, because it's possible to grow in one area of your life and another area of your life you're still struggling, or you're not paying attention to it. And I definitely do see that in my life. There are areas I feel like I should not still be at this level. I should know more. I should desire more. I should take on more responsibility in this area of my life than others. So just a caveat there. But I want to read something from my journal from 2015. I think this was in April 2015. And I'm actually recording this in April, many years later. So I'll go ahead and read now. God has a plan for me, but what things do I need to leave behind in order to enter into this new realm? I feel like my life is in limbo, like I'm constantly waiting for something. I know there's something God wants me to learn in this season. So in which area of my life do I need to draw a line in the sand? And am I willing to do it? Philippians 3:13 says, forgetting what is behind and straining to what is ahead. Paraphrased, I believe. I believe God is calling me to leave 3 things behind. I wrote this. Number 1 is my need to be perfect and do everything right. It makes me bitter and paranoid that everyone is judging me. Number 2, my fear of connection with others. It makes me withdraw and miss great relationships that could help build me up. And number 3, my fears and insecurities about my abilities. And I wrote down a prayer. I pray for grace to commit to this process and step into God's best. I mean, when I read that and I really looked over my life, and I'm like, I am glad that I wrote this down, because it gives me perspective. It gives me something to measure myself against, right? I have always been a perfectionist, right? And I know a lot of people say this. I definitely feel this. I want to do things right. I want to do things well. I want people to see me with almost some, and this might be a weakness, right? Respect. Like, I don't want them to think I'm a flake. I don't want them to think I'm not a woman of my word, that I don't follow through on what I say. So that actually affects me when I'm actually not measuring up to that standard that I've sort of placed for myself. And I really do believe that I've gotten better in this area. I have. I still have my perfectionist tendencies, but I'm learning to jump more. I'm learning to do things, do my best, and put it out there. do my best and move on to the next thing, and not staying there and feeling like, oh, I'm being judged and I'm bitter that I'm not able to do it well because I have just this perfection, this picture of perfection in my head. And the second one, my fear of connection, I really do know that I've grown in this area, because I say this all the time. And I remember, I think I was talking about this on a podcast with my friend Lola of the Kadara Woman podcast. And you know this if you've listened to this podcast, being someone who was very introverted and very painfully shy, I was afraid of connecting with people. It was very difficult for me to connect with other people. But today, I can say for sure that I've grown in this area. I can say for sure, because I've been able to meet more people, connect with more people, speak up more, assert myself more. In times where I need to talk about myself and what I'm doing, I do that, even when it's hard. I've met so many amazing people because of this podcast, because of the projects I'm working on. I am just grateful for those connections. And I'm glad that, 2015, I wrote this down, that this is something I wanted to commit to. And I can say today that I actually did it. I'm still in the process. I'm still growing. It's never done. It's never finished. But I'm able to measure myself against that 2015 me. And I'm grateful that I was intentional enough to write it down and follow through. And it's not like I was even opening this every day to say, okay, I want to do this. But somehow in my subconscious and my spirit, I knew that this was important for me. And the other thing was my fears and insecurities about my abilities. I've always wondered, can I do things? Am I able to achieve this thing? I have so many goals and dreams and ideas. I always felt like I don't think I have what it takes to do it. But just learning that I can put one foot in front of the other and just move and just take a step and just trust and believe that what God placed in me is there. It's alive and I can put it to work. And I'm thankful to God for the grace to really walk on this process. And like I said, step into God's best. And I'm still on that journey. So I just wanted to encourage you. How do you know that you're growing from year to year? If you do not have a regular practice of reflection and journaling, I encourage you to do that. As a matter of fact, after you listen to this episode, grab your journal and write down, in what ways do you want to grow? What do you want to change about you? What do you want to get better at? Write it down, commit to doing it, and in 1 year, come back and look at that list and see how much you've grown. It'll give you confidence in yourself, confidence in your abilities, confidence in your future, and most importantly, confidence in the God who created you with such intention and gave you such an amazing purpose that you do not dare not live up to that purpose. You do not dare not do it intentionally. He's given us so much. It is only fitting that we do our best for Him. I hope this encourages you. I'd love to hear from you. Are you going to take this challenge and write down the things you want to grow at and reflect on it again in a year? Send me an email at thedrivenintrovert@shepack.com. I look forward to hearing from you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoy this conversation, please take a moment to follow or subscribe to the podcast. I'd also love your feedback on this episode. You can scroll down on your app and click write a review. I'd love to read your takeaways from this conversation. As always, don't forget to take courage, trust God, and go pursue your big ideas. See you next time. The Driven Introvert is produced by shepack.com and Remy Roy. Want to ask a question or share a comment on a future episode? Click on the link in the show notes to record your question in a voicemail.